Genie grind, I wish I'm getting rich, huh? Remember when I said I hit a lick, huh? I don't really wanna fuck the bitch, what? Willie went and made another hit, okay, like Prada on my motherfucking kid, huh? Louis on my motherfucking hip, huh? Curry how I dunk, no switch, hey, fucking gonna fuck that bitch, hey, if you ain't gon' fuck with me, you a dumb fuck, put up a hit up for that one punch, look at my bank and I'm getting dumb rich, and I'm gonna count it up till 100.
Hello world, I'm What If Study, and today we are continuing What If Deku was, well, what if Naofumi was summoned by the Elves, part 11. We continue with Naofumi walking out of the Queen's compartments. He looks down and breathes in harsh. The cold in the air, he can smell his hate returning to him. However, he submerges it for a second as he remembers where he is, enemy territory. Suddenly a knife is shoved up to his throat. Meteor slash! As he grabs onto the tip of it before it can even touch his throat. My, you're quite unfavorable one, sword hero. As, you know, it reveals the rest of his body. How the fuck did you catch that? As he's like, I have my ways. But blood starts to stream down his hand. He had caught it with his right. Then he kicks him in the stomach. Naofumi's like, oh, very resourceful. I give you a point. But he grabs onto his leg, starts to crush it inside of his hand. As the sword hero screams, he flips both of his things out of his hands. However, he throws kunai right at Naofumi's face. The samurai sword now makes sense. You were walking the path of the swordsman in the mists. The samurai, well known for their samurai swords and some reasons shinobi techniques. Can you make up your mind, man? As he covers up his his face with his left arm. And then several shots come from above. Meteor shots! He hears from the crowd, like the trees. Suddenly, 3 arrow bolts are shot right into his arm as he covers up his face. He immediately equips a shield that is promptly reflecting some of the damage back at him, no matter where he is. Spike shield, something that he's not had to use for a while now. Very good. However, I deduct a point. You see, if I had let those go past me, you would have hit the van and killed the queen inside, probably even the prince. You fools. I deduct 20 points. As he then uses, he starts to jump up using full power, and then skyrockets down onto the location where the bow hero is, as he tramples down onto him and steps onto his leg, sort of crushing it below his foot. However, he gets slashed several times inside of the stomach until he finally looks up, not really giving a shit about getting hit by his sword. He's like, it cuts like a goddamn cardboard. Are you sure that you're a samurai? It's not a very sharp samurai sword. He says, you fucking bastard. You dare attack Moteyasu's girlfriend and then now you're just here to torture us? You attacked me first, sword hero. Don't kid yourself. As then he uses Executioner's Blade, enhancing his attack power for only 1 slash. However, it should do massive amounts of damage. He, within this close range, Naofumi should logically not be able to block it with any sort of shield. However, he finds that I don't really need to. It's supposed to, as he lifts up his finger, straight up to the blade, as he's like, you fool! As then he slices straight through his finger. But when he gets to his throat, nothing happens. He just slices into his throat. Halfway. Wait, what? Naofumi, however, twists his head around, sort of unsheathing the blade a little bit, letting the blood splatter all over the sword hero, blinding him, saying, it said 1 slash, right? Well, there you go. An infinite amount of damage for one slash, wasn't it? As the sword hero just like covers his face, saying, "Oh my God, you're such a monster!" The bow hero grabs the sword hero, and jumps up into the trees as the sword hero says, "We will get you back for this. For now we will retreat, but we will see you on the grounds of death." As they retreat off into the trees. Naofumi says, "I look forward to it." Suddenly Merlin appears out of the trees, uncloaking himself as Naofumi allows him to rest into his hands. Merlin is bleeding from from his thigh. He had taken an arrow, but he had escaped that place. He cannot say the same for Lily, though. They seem to have wanted her to stay the most. He was able to cloak himself as a guard for a while and make his way out of there using invisibility magic. But he couldn't save her. She was stubborn and wouldn't listen. She can be that way sometimes. It's fine. I will get her back myself. No, as the queen steps out of her little van thing, all the guards kind of like try to stop her over. She says, "Enough with this pleasantries. We are clearly going into war. They will not allow me back into the Empire, I've realized. And now they will probably not allow me to command any troops. Therefore, I cannot betray them. I cannot bring back my own daughter and husband. I have failed. I have failed as a queen." As Naofumi looks to her with kind of confused. Also, Merlin just being like, "Who's this bitch?" He's just like, "Someone that probably died in your time. She's the queen of this empire." He says, "Oh shit, the queen. She can solve this thing peacefully." She says, "But the gods will not allow us in." What was your name again? I didn't catch it. I'm so sorry. She picks him up and she's like, "Oh my God, you're bleeding." "Yeah, the gods can be like that, ma'am. What was your name so I could remember it?" "Oh, I am Queen of Mellermark." "Oh, I see. That's incredible. I'm so sorry I forgot my court manners, but I am internally bleeding too." She's like, "Oh, of course. Please come," as she starts to use healing magic upon his wounds. Naofumi asks her what exactly her game plan is here. "What do you wish to do? If you're not on the human side and you're not on his." She's like, "I'm not on the human side. I'm not on Mellermark's side. I am on all of humanity's side. There are more places than Mellermark." He realizes that, right? He says, "Of course. I've heard of a few of them. The Mellermark is the only one that is this corrupt." The queen says, "Yes, I understand," as she finishes patching up freaking Merlin. She says, "You're Merlin, right? I have heard of you as being inside my kingdom. We have eyes everywhere," as he looks very confused and also kind of scared. "They say you're quite powerful." She looks to Naofumi saying, "You're a goddamn asshole and an idiot at the same time. I've never seen anybody so sad in my life." As Naofumi kind of says, "True. But what my progeny has done, they deserve what is coming to them." I can agree. That's one thing we can all agree on. But this idiot here, I'm Merlin, this wizard, does not want me to. For he says if I do, I will get a taste of her blood, you might say. I see the problem. I believe that he is correct. Yeah, your rage does seem too great to be explained into one empire. Your conquest would go on endlessly, if it was allowed to. Naofumi says, yes, but I keep on telling him, I will stop at this empire. I only wish this. Perhaps you need more convincing, Naofumi, as he says, no more convincing, okay? I need to get this anger out. As he looks up to the empire, his troops start to march. He can hear them from all the way from there. A little tip that he had gotten from Lily. He says they're marching. They're marching straight to us. Merlin says, do not worry. I'm sure they're just going to show a peaceful sign of force. The fuck did you just say, Merlin? As the queen's like, Naofumi is correct. They will most likely just try to wipe us out in an instant through the night. Try to hunt us down like dogs. Why would they want to kill you, Queenie? She says, Queenie? They are ruthless, from what I remember. Why I married the king, first of all, was because of his strategic abilities. He knows when there is a great force, and he knows how to extort it. That's why he's so good at surveillance, too. It's just a shame that he would allow such a horrible thing to go on. You didn't know about my predicament? No one knew. And all the other empires, they've never talked about you. It seems that only this empire knows. Well, future me didn't get that memo. Fine. I'll destroy this kingdom. Just tell me where to go, Queenie. But Merlin's like, no! I can't let you do that! As he's just like, give it up, Merlin! It's not going to happen. And he's like, no, I must fulfill my destiny! I have gone through tens of timelines, failing and failing again. I will not have it happen again. Perhaps you need to show I need to show you what happens. Fine. Show me then. As he takes up the scroll, the drink that he takes, the time drink. I only have 2 of these. If we take one to go there, and I show you around, show you what happens, we have to take it to go back. It takes a while for you to drink it, so start now. As both of them take it, he stares into Merlin's eyes, as he's kind of spiteful at Merlin at this point, because he keeps on stopping him from doing what he wants to. As the queen is just very confused what they're doing, she commands the guards to stay watch around where they might come back. And they tell her that they're basically going to just disappear and then come back in an instant. But we might look a little different after we come back. Naofumi looks to him in curiosity, and he looks back at Naofumi, saying, don't worry. The future timeline just has a lot more deadly atmospheric pressures than this one. Once they finish it, they enter into what seems like almost something out of a nightmare. The land is desolate. Nothing lives there except gigantic spools of volcanoes and nothing on the ground but dust and cinders. The sky is blocked out by an unheathing and writhing mass of flames and darkness. Nothing lives here. Nothing at all. The only thing with life in it were several patches of living, organic, wooden tissue that seemed to float around in blocks and seemed to circle around one strange person. It was so strange, it hurt his brain, and all he saw was in the distance people trekking trekking only to fall down into the deep crevices of the fiery pits. The gigantic fire volcanoes were rare, and yet they took hold of the atmosphere. It felt cold, even though it was snowing ash. He held out his hand. Was this what living tissue was made out of? As Merlin says, you see, people are sacrificed here in the future for his own gain. What do you mean, gain? I did this? I made people into power? How is that even possible? Why don't you ask him yourself? Just kidding. We're not gonna actually talk to him, because that would mean death. However, we seem to have spawned in the exact wrong neighborhood for not doing that. As long as we don't make too much noise. Well, hello. As, Merlin instantly bows down onto one knee with one hand to his chest and his legs spread out. My king, don't play coy with me, boy. I know what you have gone and done, trying to fix the timelines. Don't even fucking kid. I told you, the timelines, they're fucked. No matter what we do, they will always just destroy everything. As Merlin says, right, sir. I liked you, Merlin. You were great, so useful. But now you've betrayed me and brought the one thing that could kill me. Me. This handsome man, as he starts to get up from his throne, his hedgehog-like hair covering his face. It was the same consistency as his. However, it had seemed to have been plastered over, as it had covered his throne. A throne made of wood, and nothing more. As the wood blocks around him started to shape into different things. His empire, his life, all covered him. These wooden blocks, they seemed to be energized by him as he walked by them. Hello, me. He's done exactly what I wanted him to do. As he looks down to Merlin, Merlin looks back up to him in spite. I knew you were disloyal. I knew you would do this. And so you brought the one thing I wanted back to me. You see, I'm going to correct a mistake with you. As Naofumi looks around at this horrible land and sees Merlin bowing down in fear as his body is shaking. Why? Why the question, why? Why not where? Why not how? How I did all of this? Where are we? Well, I'll answer that. But first, Merlin, why don't you show us your little trick that you have hiding up your sleeve? As Merlin was hiding, casting a spell behind his back. One of the most powerful spells that he could cook up. One to kill a god that he had been learning for so long. It took you almost 200 years to find out how to kill me. And now you're hiding it from me. So Naofumi turns around and looks down upon Merlin, saying, show me. I'm interested, really. He looks down to see Merlin, shaking and crumbling as he dashes into tears. Merlin is bad shit scared of this man, and yet he keeps on casting whatever spell he's casting. I'll tell you, but will you not slay me then?
I cannot confirm that, Merlin.
As Merlin's like, it's an anti-immortality spell I found, sir. As he's like,
I see.
he shifts around really quickly, taking out his shield, a very sharp-ended one that had been carved out from wood and was made specifically for executions. As he dashed down and tried to strike down on Merlin, Naofumi grabbed onto his arm before it can hit, making a massive explosion right in front of him, coring through the ground, the very ground, leaving Merlin shocked and thrown away from the battle.
Oh, so you finally make your move, Naofumi, and it's to defend humanity. I am just here to defend my friend. Your friend. Your friend. You think you're funny.
As then he just throws all of his power into one gut punch, which immediately sends Naofumi up into the air, about 5 feet, and then brings him down and knees him straight in the face.
You'll do the same as me, boy! And you will do as I say.
Naofumi is completely concussed, as he falls down onto his knee, and then stops another uppercut when Naofumi's face is right in front of it, with a putting the shield on top of his face.
We both know our weaknesses. Interesting.
But Naofumi just crushes both of his legs as he tackles the evil Naofumi to the ground. He repeatedly jaws him right in the jaw with several strikes, but the evil Naofumi gets a chance and throws him over him, down onto the ground. And as he rolls down, part of the hill, he gets back up, but the evil Naofumi picks up a massive part of the land and throws it at Naofumi. Naofumi dodges off to the left, however, is immediately met by a singular punch straight to the jaw. Naofumi dodges this under him and headsbutt him in the chest, knocking the wind out of evil Naofumi. Naofumi's like, yes! Good! More! Let your anger control you. Let out the lich. Let him out! As Naofumi's like, why? Why?
Both of them bleeding from the nose. Do you really wish to know, boy?
As they both relax their bodies, as this seems to be rest period. In the exploding wasteland, it seems to echo off into the distance, their screams of pain, as they release both of their screams at the same time, but calm down to meet eye to eye. Blood gushes out of Naofumi's nose and down onto his chest, which was now battered and beaten. Even Naofumi was just looking at him. I have so many pains. Do you wish to see them, boy? Do you want to see why? Something that Merlin, that little shit over there, would never understand. Come. But Naofumi is not very trusting. I said come. As then he uses some sort of teleporting technique, where he just kicks the land underneath him, causing like a mini tremor, and making Naofumi unedged, as he was not very on guard at this point. He kicks backwards and, just elbows Naofumi in the face, breaking his nose in, his face, of course, being the only thing that really injures him, and he falls down onto the ground, as Naofumi is being choked out now by evil Naofumi, before he can, be knocked out. Naofumi takes up his shirt, saying, "You want to know, you idiot? Or do you want to fight more ghosts? Fine. Show me, you fucker." As he spits blood into the evil Naofumi's face. "You won't disrespect me like that after you see." As he drags he's being dragged by evil Naofumi away, off to the stone pile. What the hell? The wooden tiles now all shifting in different directions to show all the way back. You see, I started my dream off just like you. Exactly like you. We began from the time that we touched down, being taken in by the Lich and tested on. It's about to get real fucked up. We begin in the lab, right? As the shapes start to show exactly what he was talking about. Even blood was sort of realistic as it spills out from Naofumi's chest. How does he get the blood to do that? The methodical, just crystallizing. It was so real. It was almost like he was watching a show or TV. It emulated perfectly what he was talking about. It was so mystical, it was so surreal. So we continued on, being tortured for weeks. They ripped off our every single bit of our person just to test out how far the super generation could go. Continued upgrading, and then we began to get visitors. Visitors out there. They were humans, just like us, right? They would help us, right? You see, I uncovered my memories faster than you. I realized them. Is that why you turned evil? No. It's not even part of it. But it helped me. You see, one of these women, you remember her, right? You saw her as it uncovers the face of mine. She saw us. She watched us. And you know what church the Lich was part of? A sex cult. A sex cult? Are those even existent in this world? It was made after an algorithm went wild. Of cults, it's expanded to wild, causing a wildfire of different cults to expand. After the Lich had figured out immortality and how to come back, something went wrong. And now we're locked in time. And mine had been taken in by them. Taken in so much that she loved it. She loved it so much that she joined them for a while, pretending that she was hurt. She was taken by them. So they went along with this. And when she saw you being tortured, she remembered back to her ancient origins and her empire to hate the shield hero. So she did what she knew. She made fun. She laughed and she watched. She enjoyed herself. Don't tell me. Oh yes. She probably even jerked off to you. Should I say pleasuring herself? It was fucked up. Yeah. But it's human. It's how she works. How every human works. They will find pleasure in anything. They're resourceful. I don't give a fuck about that! As Naofumi spits up blood even more. Fuck. Oh, don't worry. I'm getting to the good part. So you see, as he ropes around Naofumi's neck, twisting it over to the right, as he spots more wooden blocks coming towards them, as they stop right before their massive features seem to progress to even bigger heights. It shows a massive battlefield after Naofumi had won the battle against the humans, although with a lot of casualties on both sides. Naofumi now searched for a new thing to do, as he progressed in taking over the Melamark Empire, helping the Elves. Soon it was time for him to return back home. However, he had killed the heroes. There was no going back. No way, no how. However, he had Merlin, his only last faithful servant after his conquest, construct him a portal, away back home. The construction took so long for his limited resources. Before the day that he went, he kissed Lily on the cheek, telling her that a new life with both of them, and their son, and their daughter.
I had a family. You had a family.
They tore it down, destroying it right in front of us, the last bits of human resistance. They were spawning like flies underneath our overlord. I tried to swat him. I tried. They took away everything. They destroyed our empire, our last chance. I hunted them down. But it got boring. The heroes had survived. They had somehow been revived by the church. And now, after I had killed the last resistance, the heroes, as then it shows, Lily and the children bleeding from their necks.
They didn't. Oh, yes, they did, Naofumi. You see, when they see themselves as the heroes, and even so called some, they will reason with any act. They stomped on their bodies like pigs. They walked over my country, burning it. My rage grew so great, I swore to destroy them time and time again. No matter where they go, no matter who they are, I will kill them, and I will use their bodies as my urn to destroy more. To destroy more and more and more until there is nothing left. Naofumi, don't you understand that this is your legacy? This is your time. This is our goal. It's to destroy them. Over and over and over and over again. Yes, you get it! You get it! I understand now. So you'll join me. I will make you immortal, and we will both go through. But why enslave humankind? Oh, that. I use them as fuel to make myself immortal, so I can kill them over and over again into different timelines. That's what you've been doing. This whole time, just spiting them. Finding any reason, eh? You understand what they've done is so grand I cannot explain my rage. I have run out of tears to shed for my family. I understand. As Naofumi is fucking bawling right now. Like he cannot even potentially bring himself together. However, I became friends with the heroes. You have to understand, they're not bad people. They slayed our family. And you slayed theirs. I see. You were never supposed to be me. As Naofumi just looks up to him in aspiration, saying, and we are not you. We are the people that will defeat you. As he's like, what? Merlin then just draws up his hands to the sky, casting God killer!
And then bashes his hand onto the ground, releasing a massive shockwave which covers, old Naofumi, immediately crushing him under the weight as massive tentacles of purification, petrifying light, just immediately envelop him, completely reversing all of the cinders that had covered around him. Now he was fresher, he was newer, his body was sculpted. It seemed like he had worked out every single day. What the fuck? Are you improving him? As Merlin says, no. I am repealing all those years that he has spent. God Killer is supposed to age people backwards. That's why it's able to kill gods. Because it can basically kill anybody. Even gods who have been alive since the start of time. They were born. Even him, who has acquired something like that, is crazy to think about. It will kill him. It will take maybe a few seconds. As Naofumi looks up to him with his eyes wide. However, his old self was nowhere to be found. He was up onto his feet, charging at Naofumi. But Naofumi blasted him with one of his shields, skyrocketed him across the field. Naofumi then chases him down, hitting him multiple times, and then uppercutting him straight in the stomach into the ground as old Naofumi seems to be getting worse. He's aging backwards, cornering him into the ground. Old Naofumi, however, kicks him straight in the face. As he strikes up into the air, old Naofumi grabs onto him and wraps his arm around his throat, the same thing that had knocked him out before. But Naofumi had more energy this time as he hits him in the head and turns around and starts hitting and starts punching old Naofumi in the face in the middle of the air. Why are you doing this? As old Naofumi says, for my family. Look behind you. As Naofumi looks behind him and sees that they're falling into into one of the, outposts, one of the volcanoes that he had seen in the distance. He screams as he falls, saying, "No!" And then they both fall into the volcano. All the humans that were being, led into the volcano to be sacrificed for its power simply watched in astonishment, but then looked down and are continuously led into it. For the mass hallucination was never to be broken, even if their captor was killed. Naofumi launches himself out of there. He grabs onto it with his body scolding and his brain exposed out to air. Merlin had collected his brain just before he had been killed. As Merlin falls down to the ground saying, "I'm out of MP. We're done here. We have to go." He's like, "I am literally just a brain right now and a fucking mouth. Can you wait a few seconds?" Naofumi slowly regenerates over a course of 5 minutes. As, Merlin takes up the bottles. He starts chugging it, allowing Naofumi to also chug it as Naofumi keeps it balancing on his face, for he has no arms to control it. Before the final minute can happen, though. And in a scene that can only be described as, Frieza versus Krillin, his tiny hand grabs onto the edge of the crater. Pulling himself up, a mean-looking baby is found. It gaggles in hatred.
You thought you would escape that easily.
As he's unable to talk now.
You fools. The power has been repealed because of the volcano's power, and now you will die.
As it becomes much harder for him to talk, as both Naofumi and, freaking Merlin are very confused at this. However, Merlin, out of MP, is unable to do anything. He can only hope that the bottle works within the next second. However, the bottle is suddenly lifted out of his hand. He says, "No, no!" Both of the bottles are crushed inside of their hands, spreading glass all along their body. The glass ricochets into freaking Merlin's skin, immediately crippling him, basically, as the glass is thrown against him over and over and over again. The psychic powers of the baby is unmeasurable. Naofumi barely picks himself up on one leg, runs over to the baby, and... how can I explain? He literally body slams this baby, trying to kick it back in the hole. However, it levitates right before. It's completely knocked out. The baby is fucking destroyed. Its brain is like punched inside out, and it's just like floating there. However, he's like, what the fuck? Naofumi falls down to the ground, unable to do much else. As the baby just falls down onto the ground, completely knocked out. A massive bump arises from its head. As Naofumi finally wakes up, the massive freaking volcano starting to erupt. He grabs onto Merlin's body, and, well, the baby was sitting there. It's just a baby, but it's kind of like a mini Hitler. Like, would you kill little Hitler? Then he looks to it, kind of crying about its head being bruised, and is like, yeah, maybe I should save it. He grabs onto the baby, and brings it along with him. As he runs down the mountain, rocks hit to the left and right of him, but he floats down onto it, gliding on top of his shield, kind of like Link does in Breath of the Wild. He falls all the way down to the end of it. However, he's swiftly chased by the lava flow. He walks on top of some of the structures from the wood. However, it catches on fire. He's then, all the wood starts to stack on top of itself to give him the best advantage. However, it's being caught on fire very easily, and is quickly surrounding him. With a cripple and a baby as his only chances out of here, he wonders about all the places that he's gone, and remembering the life that he's had. The crazy ass shit that he's gone through now. Holy fuck. But then he looks down to Merlin and sees his eyes staring into Naofumi's. What is he trying to tell me? He parts his lips slightly, saying, You wonder why you were able to go to this timeline. As Naofumi gets in closer to listen. It's 'cause you harmed a person of that origin, of that world. As Naofumi's then says, No, you can't be. He then looks up to Naofumi, saying, You have to. Naofumi's like, No, but you're the only one that I've trusted. The only one that I have thrust my life for. Do you understand what that would mean to me? I would truly be giving up humanity. If you don't kill them, then you'd be giving up humanity. My friend. My only and true friend. Merlin, you've helped me, done nothing but helping me since the beginning. Just kill me already, you sappy fuck. Naofumi just laughs and says, I guess this stuff I should be used to, right? It never feels like that. It always feels like the first kill. As Merlin closes his eyes, saying, My job is done. My destiny fulfilled. I am done. No more hate, no more pain. Naofumi takes up his shield and closes his eyes, but then decides to stare at and listen to Merlin's last words as he bashes down onto his neck, decapitating him, and grabs onto the baby as suddenly he's teleported all the way back to the battlefield in the cushy places, somewhere he's used to. Thank you so much for watching. That has been part 11. It's been a long night and a long episode. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. I will see you guys sometime. Somewhere. Goodbye.
Genie grind, I wish I'm getting rich, huh? Remember when I said I hit a lick, huh? I don't really wanna fuck the bitch, what? Willie went and made another hit, okay, like Prada on my motherfucking kid, huh? Louis on my motherfucking hip, huh? Curry how I dunk, no switch, hey, fuck you gonna fuck that bitch, hey, if you ain't gon' fuck with me, you a dumb fuck, put up and hit him up for that one punch, look at my bank and I'm getting dumb rich, and I'm gonna count it up till 100.